we're now that it's football season, it's time for cliche talk.
Yes.
It's like
Stu Dickman is going to take. That's my alter ego, Stuart Dickman, and the Stuart Dickman
So if
show.
you could run, so here's my encapsulation of handicapping every football game coming up this season.
All right.
If you can run the ball and control the clock, obviously you're in a good position to win. But also defense. You need the good defense because defense wins championships. Now, of course, if it's a really close matchup, it could come down to the special teams. And then when you get to the fourth quarter, it's all about who wants it more.
Yes, who wants it more? Good for you. That was the good capper.
The best way to kick off your day is with Defo plus Lubie. We now return to the Defo Show.
All right, welcome back to Cliche Corner here. Oh, look at this guy, man. He's got a disguise on today. What are you going to play poker right after the show?
Wow.
Mike Mayo did this, the Gambling Gourmet.
I am in full-blown Homer mode, unlike that nattering nabob of negatism, Perkins, who's going with the under 8 and 9.
Yeah.
I don't have my pom-poms here, but I am the Dolphins cheerleader.
You look like Dolphin Denny. You really do.
I even have my Tony Segreto, Jeff DeForest rose-colored glasses on. Everything is looking beautiful this morning. Yeah. I told you it was a sucker line, and you guys are the suckers.
Well, we kind of got sucked in because you insisted, and you were starting to cry that we were, weak.
Well, you're wimps. You wouldn't put your money where your
like
mouth
pussies
is.
and things like that. I mean,
then you put your money where your mouth is, and now it's my money. My money.
Well, I ended up actually, because I'm booking this guy's bets, and I don't render an opinion on that. He just sends me the games every week, and he usually bets like 9 or 10 games. My buddy Francesco,
right, and he lost.
Yeah, he loved the Rams last night. So I ended up in a perfect situation where you were going to lose the juice. I had both sides.
Right. Typical, like I said, typical pundit where you get to say you're right.
A hedging
no
Jew,
what.
yeah. Yes, I had both sides.
But again, Francesco, the ultimate sucker, and he fell for the sucker line. It was designed to induce people to say, what is the Rams, the Super Bowl champions, going to be a home dog? Well, no, it's because they were trying to get more people to bet the Rams because everybody the smart money knew the Bills were far
you had the smart money.
I went with the smart money.
Yeah, no, that was brilliant.
And now I'm looking pretty smart. And here we are.
Were you one of those guys that was afraid to pick against the Dolphins when you had those little boxes on the bottom of the?
Oh, you kidding me? I lived for the hate mail.
Bricker was always picking the Dolphins, even though he was, essentially a bitter human being. Fred Turner, the sports editor, I believe, always was on the Dolphins. Hyde, he rarely picked against the Dolphins. But you didn't care, right? Yeah.
No, I went game by game by my honest feeling. This one coming up this weekend scares me because when everybody seems to be going one way, and it seems like everybody's picking.
Everybody loves the Finns, yeah.
You know what? I would be contrarian and say, not so fast.
It's a Tom Jicha theory.
I'm not picking against the Dolphins formally this week because I just think it would be stupid because I'm trying to get them to 9 wins, and I don't want to bet against myself on individual games. And I just don't think it's just a game I'm staying away from. Sarni, my Svengali, says that the three of us should have like some season-long competition of just like picking 3 games a week, and I say it should be a choice of any 3 games, makes it more skillful. And I actually came up with 3 picks, and one of them was obviously the Bills last night. So I've got 2 more picks for this week. Do you want to hear them, or do you care?
I do. It's interesting because that big Westgate contest, and I guess they have another giant handicapping contest similar out in Las Vegas. And I was in a pool for several seasons, and it was the same principle. Pick any 5 games that you want against the point spread.
Yeah.
And whoever has the most wins at the end of the season. And it's not an easy thing to do.
Not an easy thing.
Yeah.
I could do 5 if you want, but this week I just came up with I got 4,
you know what? I'm not in favor with the Svengali theory of Sarni of actually documenting our picks because I think we'd be very sorry that we did that by the end of the year.
I am not afraid.
I finished last in that pool. I cashed $200. I got my money back.
was horrible.
I finished last. I had won the pool. No, I never won the pool, but I had been in the money a couple of times. And I finished last the final season that was run a couple of seasons ago with an horrendous record. I mean, just going 1-4 every week.
That takes some
ridiculous.
skill also. It's like always picking the reverse exacta, the last 2 finishers. And I seem to do that
pretty
with
tough.
More frequency these days. But all right, well, you guys don't have to go along, but you could like throw me in with your handicaps. I'm going to give you 3 games a week.
3 games that cannot lose. All right, I like that.
And I'm sticking with NFL because college, I don't know anything about college football because it's just craziness with all the
not a strength of mine, I will admit.
Yes, but the two other games that I like this week, I like the Bengals giving 6.5 at home to the Pittsburgh Steelers because I just don't think the Bengals are getting, and like the professor was alluding to, Joe Burrow not getting as much credit as everybody seems to love the kid in Herbert in San
Justin Herbert.
Diego,
Yeah.
and all he did was lead a kind of underdog ragtag team to the Super Bowl, and Pittsburgh is obviously in a transition post Roethlisberger. And I like just Cincinnati at home winning by winning a touchdown or more. I just think they're a good team, and they should, maybe I'm an idiot, but I'm going to go with Cincinnati giving the 6.5 points. And then the other game.
Is one of your games, are you taking the Dolphins laying the 3 and a hook?
No, I already said I'm not touching that game because
not touching that game. Okay,
I'm not touching the game because I don't like when everybody goes one way and everybody seems to be picking the Dolphins. And I want them to show me. I'm kind of like Perkins in that regard. I want them to show me first before I start formally picking them or putting money on them.
Basic
Although
Mayo philosophy.
I do have the over 8 and a hook for the season bet with you guys because I just think at some point, they are playing a bunch of what seem to be weak teams in the middle of the season, but you never know. Teams can get good all of a sudden.
Anything can happen.
What looks like a weak stretch could end up being a tough stretch. So it's all crazy at this point. But the third game.
What was the first one then?
What was the first game?
Yeah.
The first game?
You went right into game 2.
Was the second, so I assumed the Dolphins were your first.
The first game was Buffalo. What was the final?
That was yesterday's news, Mayo.
No, but that was one of my 3 picks for the week. That was one of my best bets of the week. Don't give me that.
We were supposed to find that out. I mean, we found that out at Shenanigans yesterday that you had money.
Yeah, but it was 1-0, and I put it on the record.
All right, we'll give you 1-0 on that.
No,
you were right about that one.
Again, three NFL picks every week. Obviously, from now on, I'll be doing on a
So
Friday.
We already have you with one win.
The Thursday night game usually.
Right,
okay.
But and the second one is Bengals minus 6.5.
Okay.
Against the Steelers, and then the third one is just I'm betting against. I'm going with the broken down man theory of like once Tom Brady. This is the year it all falls apart for him. His wife is going to leave him.
I'm with you. We're both on board on that. So
I'm sure, like within the next month, Pete Davidson will be dating Giselle and his kids out. He might have some calamity. He might snap that Achilles tendon, or the
Pete or Brady.
No, Brady. This is the year.
There's only one thing that Pete's snapping, and that's his zipper. This guy.
So Brady, I think this is the year it all comes tumbling down. So in that vein, I am going to go with the home dog on Sunday night. The Cowboys getting 2.5 against Tampa Bay. Is that what that's the line I saw? And I
have 2 and a hook here. From yesterday.
So I am going, even though I'm not usually the biggest Dak Prescott or Jerry Jones fan.
It's hard to root for the Cowboys, isn't it?
It is.
It's just tough. Especially on a nationally televised game where you're having a lot of Jerry shots. I like seeing Jerry getting ready to jump out of the booth more so than high-fiving everybody.
I know, but again, now I think I've turned the tables on Tom Brady. I used to respect him and marvel at him, but I think now everything is going to just go to seed for him. It's just going to be like one big disaster year. So I'm going to, stake an early position on that contention and go with the Cowboys in week 1. So Bengals, Cowboys, and the Bills are already in the win column. So that's my NFL picks for the week.
I don't know how stressful your divorce was, but because obviously you've made amends or have very amicable relations now, which is fine. But were you at the Sun Sentinel when this divorce was taking place?
Yes, of course.
And did she ever get inside your head? As you found yourself at work, you're typing a lead, and you're hearing her voice in your head, saying something that wasn't particularly flattering about the way you conduct your life. This is what I think is happening to Brady, and I've experienced this.
Yeah,
where, you go to work and you can't divorce yourself from the whole thought process of the ugliness that's taking place at home.
Inner turmoil is never good, and domestic. What's the opposite of tranquility? Domestic war. I mean, it's like
hostility.
And it's like you got to be under the same roof for a given period of time, and it's just not a pleasant place to be. And
she wants all of your money, and you think that's unreasonable. But you're an asshole for thinking that, in her opinion. Yeah, exactly.
It's an ugly thing, and obviously, good luck to the Bradys. But we'll see what happens in terms of the football stuff. And I always say, usually a person's first inclination is the right one, and he walked away. He retired, and then he came back. So
Yep.
I think he might live to regret that comeback. He should have just
It's like
stayed
walking
away.
back into the track after you already started your car.
Yeah, I mean,
And
if
you
you
go,
go
oh, geez, I forgot to bet the late double. And you're up 400, and you go
Right.
back in there, and you end up like losing 3.
There you go. Hey, and speaking of the track, I got to give you props, Defo.
What I
You
do?
were right in terms of just like you thought the flight to New Orleans was early, and then the Mustang told you it was late, and it ended up being early. You said Aqueduct. I said no, Belmont is opening soon. You're right. There is no Belmont fall meet. It's transferred to Aqueduct, and it
Oh,
doesn't begin.
Yeah.
It doesn't start until Thursday of this week, the 15th. So there is no New
That
York
shook me up
racing.
today. Yeah, that
There
shook
is
me up.
no New York racing until next Thursday, and the 28-day fall Belmont meet will be conducted at the Big A Aqueduct because they're doing all kinds of construction at Belmont. What they're doing is digging tunnels underneath the track, so they're going to make it like the other two Triple Crown events, so that there'll be an infield with a big party scene for the Belmont Stakes.
Oh, nice.
So that construction is going to be ongoing all winter. And while they're digging these tunnels, they can't have any racing or even training over the tracks there at Belmont. So New York racing fans are going to be it's going to be a long fall and winter at Aqueduct, and but that's okay because we've got Kentucky Downs, more Kentucky Downs this weekend, and I got a couple of picks out there. It was a
You got
weird
some horses. Oh,
I got
beautiful.
horses.
You're on fire today, Mayo. This is great.
I'm in my
Very confident in your picks. You're playing from a different perspective. I mean, you were shaky.
I'm losing weight. I feel
after
good.
all of those
I'm light on my.
sandwiches.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
mean,
good.
you were very shaky. You were becoming completely suspect in all aspects of your life, and now you confident and brimming with enthusiasm. It's a whole new you. It's great.
Yeah, low carbs equals confidence equals sharp, razor sharp thinking. I think this is going to be a beautiful thing. So it was weird last week because Kentucky Downs had a washout in the middle of a big card last Saturday. They had to scratch a whole bunch of big stakes races that they're going to be running tomorrow, and their card tomorrow is excellent. 12 races, $2 million stakes races on the card. And last week, I gave out the winner last week at the Del Mar Derby, Slow Down Andy. I wanted to have
Very nice.
Lubie cut up the tape and the call, but we were all too
That doesn't
busy
happen
this
anymore. No, that's a
No.
lot of production.
Okay, that's too much production. Okay, well, suffice it to say that
Save something that might have been brilliant. Why would I do that?
Yeah. Well, people can go back onto the YouTube, and at the 2-hour mark,
the
2-hour mark of last Friday's episode on September 2nd, I gave out a Slow Down Andy in the Del Mar Derby, went off at 6-1. That was in honor of our friend
That's a good
Andy.
call. Yeah.
And he ended up whistling gate to wire. It was one of those really nice jobs where the jockey was able to just kind of Mario Gutierrez just nursed his speed, and he held up against a 41 shot. Of course, I didn't win a dime on the race because I didn't play him to win. I'm so busy with exactas and trifectas, and the biggest long shot in the field runs second. Totally screws me and blows me up. It would have been a $400, $1 exacta.
A horrible feeling.
And just that is the worst feeling in the world, giving
Yes.
out a winner and not cashing for a dime.
And the
That's
bets that
okay.
you don't make, right? I mean, all you had to do is wheel his horse for $1 and you walk away.
Yeah, it's so stupid that but again, that's not going to shake my confidence. I'm a new man now. It's all good. I gave out last week in the Mint Million a tone. Again, that is race now is going to be run as race 5 tomorrow. So I'm sticking with a tone.
Holy Passover. A tone?
A tone. Here's a double for you at Kentucky Downs. Well, not a double because they're in far different races, but Kentucky Downs, it's the 5th race is the Mint Million. A tone is the number 7 horse. And I'm going to do a exacta box in honor of you, Defo, the 7-5. Kentucky Ghost is the 5 horse, 12-1 long shot. So I'm going to play a tone to win along with an exacta box with the 5 horse. That's in the 5th race. And then we've got Turf Cup, which is the other $1 million race on the card, the 11th race. Is it the 11th race? I don't even know. It's Kentucky Turf Cup. It's a 1.5-mile marathon on the turf. And there's a horse named Temple running. And it's Saturday.
Tone and Temple nearing Passover. Yeah.
And nearing the high holy days, not Passover, Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur coming up toward the end of the month. But it's Saturday. You go to Temple on Saturday, and that's what I'm going to do. It's listed as 6-1 with Jose Ortez aboard. And I think I didn't jot down the trainer because I've got my rose-colored glasses on here. Here we go.
You do look a little like Tony with those glasses.
Temple is the number 3-horse, and it's for Mike Maker, who he seems to be doing well at Kentucky Downs. So number 3 Temple, and that is in the what race is it? The 10th race, the 10th race at Kentucky Downs.
Kentucky Downs.
And
Very
some
nice.
of your old favorites are in that race. Glenn County is running.
Not running well anymore.
Not running well.
That one out,
And
yeah.
Gufo, that was the big.
Gufo's good. I won his last race and looked good
Gufo
doing
is
it.
good. He's listed as the 7-5
Yeah.
favorite for Christophe Clement.
Comes from the
Joel
clouds too.
Rosario.
You have to wait for that horse to kick in. He was more up with the pace last time, which is amazing because this is a horse that was a dead closer, like one of my favorites of all time, the great Lee de Justice, who used to come from literally from the Santa Ana Hills there, when running at Santa Anita. But no, that's all good. All right, and a great time yesterday, Mike Mayo. Shenanigans. I had the ribs; they were in the fridge, calling my name, and they were fantastic. I don't know if you got into it with the new diet. You look a little svelte. Andy says 230 max, 0.2 maybe today on the scale, but and well on your way to winning another bet, which I think we're going to take you to the Fish Shack for that payoff. Is that fair? I mean, it's not going to be like going to some fast food joint, but delicious. And you've never been there, and it's almost a disgrace, to say that. But you can't hit every place. I understand that, even though you were a food critic for how many years? Like 12 years?
No, just 5. So that's it. Just 5.
But you would love it. I mean, I think you would have liked it even more. It's much more comfortable where it is right now, but you might have even liked it more as the hole-in-the-wall shack that it was.
I generally like the old.
It was so hole-in-the-wall that, I mean, it was the ultimate definition of a hole-in-the-wall place that blows your mind with how good it is.
I love place with 0 atmosphere and 100% food.
It had atmosphere. It didn't have a lot of space.
Yeah. Okay, tiny. All right, no, beggars can't be choosy. Winners can't be choosy. Wherever you guys take me, it'll be great.
I hope you keep this streak going. No, I really do, Mike Mayo. It's good for you, and it'll embolden you to continue improving your life in other ways. All right, which is good.
It needs a lot of improvement. Yes.
No, that last month was very shaky. You were on some very.
You got to hit rock bottom to start climbing back to the top.
It was great. When you nearly fainted in Las Patas just at the sight of these sandwiches.
Those meat sweats.
Yeah. You started schwitzing. It was crazy. Yeah. All right, you have a good one. Shenanigans, great. Lunchbox today at noon. Mike Mayo.